Hello peoples, welcome back to my YouTube channel. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Well, welcome. This is episode 4 of my Spooky October series, and October is about to end. So I would have hoped that I would have made more videos for October, but sadly life happens and I'm quite busy lately. So, right, if you don't know about the series, it's about all spooky things, all controversial things, scary things, occult things, folklore, everything that falls into that bubble. And today's video is going to be on the origins of the Dark Fae, and it was actually recommended by a commenter, somebody that watched my video. So thank you very, very much. And I told you I would do research and I would do a video on it, and here's the video on it. Oh, also, I'm going to Fright Fest. I'm going to Fright Fest tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, and I might make a vlog video. Don't quote me on that. There may be some shorts though, just to, I don't know, just felt the need to say that. But before I get this video started, I wanted to share a Buddhist, can I say philosophy quote that I learned like 2 years ago. But I was having a conversation with my mom about knowledge and how, it's just something that is it isn't quite fully attainable. No matter how old you get, you can continue to learn, and that's such a beautiful thing. And if you couldn't tell already, I love knowledge, I love learning. Basically, the Buddhist quote was talking about this student, and he talks to his master, and he's like, "Master, I want to attain enlightenment, and I want to be smart, and I want to know all of the knowledge, pretty much." So the master's like, "Okay, come to me after class, and we'll have a conversation over some tea." So the student goes to the master's abode, or wherever they go, and the student is talking to the teacher, and the teacher is pouring tea for himself. And as he begins to pour the tea for his student, he is pouring the tea, pouring, and the cup is overflowing. So the student is obviously like taken aback. He's like, "What are you doing? The tea is, it's everywhere now." So that was a metaphor for basically what the master wanted to express to the student. And what that meant was, in order to attain enlightenment, or in order to take in knowledge, to learn more, to become more intelligent, you have to absorb what you have learned, and then you have to let it go. Let it go, meaning you have to teach others what you know. Right. There's this saying that I heard, and this may not be verbatim because even though I have good memory, the saying goes, the information you have learned means nothing if you have not used it, if you have not utilized it, if you have not taught it, So I just, that really sat with me doing this YouTube channel, and the way I'm taking the things that I know already or that I'm researching for videos like this, and how I'm giving it to you guys, and I'm really grateful that I can do that. So thank you. We have reached 40 subscribers, which is like insane and amazing, and it's only been 3 weeks. So thank you so much. And that was a very long introduction, but let's get into the origins of the Dark Fae. The concept of the Dark Fae finds its roots in mythology, folklore, and fantasy literature. These mysterious beings, often portrayed as malevolent or morally ambiguous, are part of the broader category of fairies or fae that have been a staple in mythology and literary traditions for centuries. The origins of the Dark Fae can be traced back to ancient folklore, where supernatural entities were believed to inhabit natural spaces, as well as the literary developments of the medieval and Renaissance periods. And now we shall examine the evolution from ancient times to modern depictions. In ancient folklore, the Fae were considered to be spirits or supernatural entities that inhabited the natural world. They were neither fully benevolent nor entirely malevolent. Their alignment depended on how humans treated them and the respect they showed to nature. And if we know anything about humans these days, okay. These beings were believed to be between humans and the force of nature, often associated with natural elements like the forest, river, and the night sky. The concept of dark fae emerged from the idea that some of these spirits had a darker, more dangerous aspect, reflecting the shadowy, unpredictable nature of the wilderness. In Celtic mythology, for example, the Sidhe, spelt like this, were a race of supernatural beings that lived in a parallel realm known as the Otherworld, kind of like Coraline. These beings were both revered and feared, as they could be helpful or harmful depending on their mood and the behavior of humans. Darker aspects of the Sidhe, such as the Unseelie Court, spelt like this, a faction of malicious and trickster spirits, served as early prototypes for what would later be called the Dark Fae. These beings were often associated with the night, winter, and mischief, in contrast to the Seelie Court, which was linked to the light, summer, and benevolence. The medieval period saw the evolution of fairy lore, blending older pagan beliefs with emerging Christian themes. In the Middle Ages, fairies were often depicted as magical beings with a capacity for both good and evil, reflecting the complex morality of the time. They became associated with the supernatural world, hidden from everyday reality, and their darker aspects began to be emphasized. This era introduced tales of changelings, fairies who steal human children and replace them with their own, as well as stories of malevolent beings who could curse crops and lead travelers astray. Kind of like the Window-Willow. Is that what the Window-Willow? Hold on, let me make sure this is right. I'm gonna look it up in here. The Encyclopedia of Spirits. This is literally my Bible. This is my holy grail. Everything spiritual that you need will be in this book. I recommend books to you guys all the time, and I truly hope that you take it into consideration. All right. Well, after looking through this book for a while, I said the name wrong. It's Will-O-Wisp. It has to be in here. And if it's not in here, then that means it was like a part of somebody else that's in here. And it's kind of annoying me right now. Yeah. It's not in here. I found out what I was trying to say. It's under Jack-o'-lantern in the book. And basically, it's an atmospheric ghost light seen by travelers at night, and basically they follow it because they get hypnotized by it, and they get thrown off of a cliff. Yeah, so that was obnoxiously long for whatever reason. The Renaissance period, with its revival of classical mythology, further developed the concept of the Fae. Writers like William Shakespeare played a significant role in shaping the modern understanding of fairies. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, the mischievous Puck and the fairy court of Oberon and... Listen, I'm not good with names, okay? and Titania introduced a whimsical but potentially dangerous aspect to fairy lore. However, alongside the more benevolent fairies, tales of dark, seductive, and vengeful fae continued to evolve, highlighting the duality of their nature. The dark fae, as a specific category, began to crystallize during the Romantic period of the 18th and 19th centuries. Now, if you've been on my channel before, we spoke about the 18th and 19th century quite a bit, but let's continue. A time when fascination with the supernatural, the mystical, and the irrational became prominent in art and literature. You know, my favorite. Gothic literature, with its themes of mystery, horror, and the sublime, often featured dark supernatural beings akin to the Dark Fae. In works like Goethe's Faust, guys, give me a second. This is Dr. Faustus, and I got this. Funny story. Well, is it actually a funny story? Well, I was walking down the street in New York one day, and I passed this bookstore, and this was right outside on the front. And it's so funny because I was looking, I just came from the library, and I had checked out like 2 or 3 books about Faust and Mephistopheles. And listen, this is a topic that I'm really interested in. So, if you would like to know about Dr. Faustus and the German demon Mephistopheles, please let me know. Even if you don't let me know, we may have a video on this later on. In works like Faust or Frankenstein, the line between the human and otherworldly blurred, reflecting the growing beliefs in beings who existed outside the conventional mortality. In works like Faust or Frankenstein, the lines between the human and the otherworldly blurred, reflecting the growing belief in beings who existed outside of conventional morality. In Irish and Scottish folklore, stories of the banshee, an ominous spirit whose wail foretold death, were emblematic of the darker aspects of fairy lore. This period reinforced the idea that some fae were beautiful yet deadly, sort of like sirens. Now, yes, I will be making a video on that. You don't even have to ask me. I'm giving you guys a lot of information on myself. I guess that's what builds this relationship, huh? Fun fact about me, I am obsessed with mermaids and sirens, and when I was younger, two of my favorite shows were Mako Mermaids and H2O, and like almost every other night I was in the bathtub doing potions, trying to turn into a mermaid, looking up different potions and spells to try to turn myself into a mermaid in my bathtub. So do what you will with that. Powerful yet morally ambiguous, establishing many of the characteristics that would come to define the Dark Fae. In the 20th and 21st century, the Dark Fae solidified as a distinct trope within fantasy literature and popular culture. Authors like J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, and Ursula K. Le Guin incorporated elements of the Dark Fae into their worlds, often using them to explore themes of corruption. I have glasses on and I still can't. Tolkien's The Silmarillion includes characters like Melkor, later Morgoth, and Sauron, who can be seen as dark, corrupted beings with a resemblance to the Fae of old myths. Entities who were once beautiful and noble to be turned to darkness, like Maleficent, what me and my mom were talking about earlier. Most recently, fantasy literature and media have embraced the idea of the Dark Fae as complex, multifaceted characters, often blending their ancient origins with modern storytelling. In novels like Holly Black's The Cruel Prince and Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, the Dark Fae are central figures, representing the allure of power, danger, and the struggle between light and darkness. These modern adaptations often emphasize the ambiguity of the Dark Fae, portraying them as morally gray characters who are neither wholly evil nor purely good, but exist in a liminal space between the two. Speaking of liminal spaces, should I? I already dropped a lot. We can wait it out. The Dark Fae serve as a powerful symbol for a range of themes. They often embody the untamed aspects of nature, the unpredictable and sometimes dangerous sides of the world humans simply cannot control. They are a reminder of humanity's vulnerability in the face of natural forces and the dangers of overstepping boundaries, which humans tend to do, because obviously we can't see the line that we have crossed multiple times, but I won't get into that right now. Additionally, the Dark Fae can represent the darker aspects of the human psyche, such as temptation, desire, and the potential for corruption. Their allure often lies in their beauty and power, which can captivate and lead to downfall, symbolizing the risks of being drawn to the unknown or the forbidden, once again, like how sirens lure sailors and pirates with their voice. In conclusion, the origins of the Dark Fae are deeply intertwined with humanity's fascination with supernatural and the unknown. From ancient spirits of nature to the morally ambiguous features of modern fantasy literature, the Dark Fae can evolve from tales that warn against the dangers of disrespecting nature to complex characters who challenge our understanding of morality, power, and beauty. Their continued presence in storytelling speaks to a deep-rooted human desire to explore the darker side of existence, to confront our fears, and to understand the allure of the forbidden. The Dark Fae, with their enigmatic nature and dangerous beauty, will likely remain a captivating and enduring symbol of the realm of fantasy and myth for generations to come. Now, obviously, we know we have to close out with a couple of fun facts, even if it's just two. I did find an article from the Los Angeles Times about how Angelina Jolie's daughter inspired the secret backstory of Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and surface level, that doesn't sound like it has anything to do with the Dark Fae, but it says Maleficent's Dark Fae World's secret backstory. So, I mean, I'll link it. You can read it if you'd like. Crazy enough, I'm looking up fun facts, or just facts about the Fae, and there's a whole bunch of Maleficent lore coming up, and things about Angelina Jolie, and something about Tina Fey came up. So, well, maybe let's return to the book and see if I can find anything in here for you guys. Anything interesting. Right, so we have some animals that are associated with fairies. Frogs, toads, dragonflies, butterflies, horse, cattle, deer, and foxes are among the creatures most identified with fairies. The plants are wildflowers. The time that is associated with fairies, they favor nocturnal hours and threshold times, for instance, twilight and dawn. You know how we talked about liminal spaces, so it's in the in-between. Sacred dates associated with fairies, they say that they are particularly active from May Eve until a last annual fling at Halloween. So, for all of you going to Halloween parties, you may be, if you're one of those people that just like to make out with random people in parties, you might be kissing a fairy. So that can be good, right? Allegedly, if you stand beneath an elder tree on Midsummer's Eve, you will be granted a vision of revealing fairies. If that's something you'd like to try, tell me about it. Tell me how that goes for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for the commenter who suggested that I do a video on this, because it was very interesting, and I knew of the Dark Fae, but I didn't know anything about it. So this was fun to learn about it with you all, and do come again. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you know somebody that likes content like this. And thank you for the 40 subscribers. And was there something else I wanted to tell you guys? No, I don't think so. Ta-ta.